Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do something a little different than I normally do. Lately I've been doing a lot of vlogs about just what's going on and what we're doing in Hawaii and just like random weekends and vacations, stuff like that. But I do miss kind of posting about something specific, and I wanted to start a new series. So I am going to basically track my fitness and health every week, or whenever something comes up, and kind of make episodes about my journey and what's going on. And I think that there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of YouTubers that do the same thing, and I struggled with trying to figure out why I wanted to do it and what makes me different from everyone else, and why somebody would watch me over somebody else or in addition to somebody else. And I really don't have reason except for that I am myself, and maybe somebody can learn something, or maybe I just do things in a way that's different that can help other people, because I feel like I've been through so much in the last 10 years with eating and diets and training, with all the jobs and everything that I've had and all the experiences that I went through. So I'm just gonna go for it. I think the stupidest thing to do is compare yourself to others and let that hold you back from the things that you want to do and the things that you want to share. So yeah, here is my first episode to the Balancing Health series on this channel. So this is obviously not the first health and fitness episode or any kind of video that I've made before. I do have in playlists and stuff on my channel just other things that I've done. The latest chapter in my fitness journey was during deployment. So my husband deployed for about 4 months during the beginning of the year, and I really needed something to latch on to and kind of take a hold of to get some stability in my life. And I figured it was a really good time to kind of start something drastic. What I ended up doing was signing up to have a macro coach with Working Against Gravity, because I wanted a reputable company to help me. And initially I was terrified, because even in videos before, and I've explained this in my 8-week progress update that I will link below, I feel so restricted by counting, and in the past it had led me to binge eating and even more body image issues than I had before, which you didn't think was possible. It ended up being a really good experience for me, and it opened my mind to the fact that I can discipline myself, and that at this time in my life I'm able to switch my priorities, and things are easier and better for me to handle, rather than when I was in my 20s and just really trying to figure out who I was, and it really stopped a lot of things in my life. Fast forward to about 12 to 16 weeks later, I ended up losing 12 pounds on the diet. I'm sure that I gained some muscle and definitely lost body fat, and I don't actually know how much. I don't know the current stats of that. I really wish that I somehow was able to get a body fat measurement, because what ended up happening was I just completely stalled out in my weight loss department. And then I had a vacation to Vegas and Colorado, which I fully documented in my vlogs that are on this channel also. But what happened was I didn't have a scale. I didn't want to whip out a food scale in front of family, because, I am a weirdo, but I'm not a monster. I don't believe that, my goals were that important to whip out a scale at a restaurant or in front of family. I didn't think that that was right. What ended up happening is that I just ate intuitively, and I drank alcohol, and I did feel bloated and whatever, but I felt okay about it. It was the first time in my life that I had a bad week, and or a not ideal nutritional week, and just kind of got right back on track. And I didn't even really gain any weight from that trip, maybe like a couple of pounds after the flight from water weight and stuff, but it was just completely fine. And it was big for me to actually choose to keep on going in a forward direction and not let it consume me. And it really made me feel like I can somewhat trust myself again to make my own choices with food and do my own thing. What happened after that was my weight loss completely stalled out after I started tracking again with the numbers that my coach gave me, and I was working out harder and I was lifting heavier and I was doing more cardio and it just wasn't making sense. And this is like 2 months of being within the same like weight pounds. And just so you know my current stats, because I know I like to know this, and even though obviously everybody knows like I'm not the same as you don't require the same numbers as me, so don't take exactly what I'm telling you to heart or think that you should do what I'm doing because we're the same stature, blah blah blah. I am 5'5". I currently woke up at 152 pounds this morning, and according to a measurement that I got at the gym recently, I'm 33% body fat, which is not correct, but I'm working on trying to figure out the actual number, and I'll explain that in a minute. My weight loss was completely stalled out, and it just didn't make sense, and of course, like, all these thoughts were running through my head, and basically, I started thinking about the numbers that my coach was giving me. And I also started thinking about the fact that she never really asked like what kind of exercise I was doing and how many calories I was burning. I had all this information, but she was just giving me like numbers here and there and not really like asking about my emotions or my life. And when I had said something about it to her, her response was like, yeah, we're busy, but you know, if you want me to be more emotional, then I can do that too. And it's like, I don't know. I was seeing other coaches with their clients, like texting them and like saying things on their Instagram. And I think that I needed a more, not even personal approach. I kind of enjoyed the fact that she wasn't like all up in my shit, but I also didn't like the fact that she had nothing to really truly base those numbers off of. So it got me thinking that I might actually be eating too little for what I am doing, my activity levels and things like that. And so I asked somebody at my gym when I got back to Hawaii if there was any way that I could get my body fat percentage tested on this island, because there's not really a lot of places that do that apparently here. So I went upstairs to this classroom that they had, and I talked to a woman, and she said, you might not be eating enough. And they do resting metabolic rate testing where you sit in a chair and you breathe for 10 minutes and it measures the carbon dioxide output that you put out, and for what, I don't know how, it goes into this little machine and it tells you how many calories you burn at rest. So I've been dying to find out that number, and I took the nutrition class this morning, and then next week I will have the RMR test, and that's what I'm basing my numbers off of. How many calories I am burning at rest, and then I will come up with my own numbers just like I have in the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks, so 2 weeks ago, I did end up ending my relationship with my coach and the company that I was getting my macros from, and I started doing it myself, and I allowed myself, you know, a untracked meal when I was out with my husband on our date night. I didn't go crazy, but you know, I went out for, let's say, ramen the other day when I knew that I didn't have enough carbs that day. And you know, I didn't want to be so strictly tracking, because I'm not doing a show. I just do this fitness thing for other reasons besides like specific goals that would require me to literally track every ounce. So I didn't think that it was the right thing for me to have somebody else do my numbers and somebody else be kind of keeping me accountable. I kind of want to do that myself, and I kind of want you guys to help by me posting videos and for accountability. With that said, I am happy with the results and the way that my relationship with food changed through that experience. And now I am ready to trust myself and make more decisions based on my intuitiveness. What this means for me for the future and my future goals right now is that from this point until, let's say, October 1st, I am going to continue tracking on a slight deficit. So I'm gonna have slightly less calories than I need. And that might change week to week, because I might be eating slightly less calories one week but exercise more, and it will be actually more of a deficit. Or maybe for whatever reason I'll be exercising less and, you know, have a couple meals untracked, which would keep me at like maintenance. But right now the overall goal for the next couple of months is to eat at a slight deficit, lift really heavy and do a couple sessions of cardio and basically do a lean bulk. So that is where you slowly lose fat but still gain muscle at the same time, which takes a hell of a long time, and that's what I have been doing. I'm gonna do that up until the fall. Now, when the fall hits, I am going to completely let go of tracking, but still intuitively eat what I think is best and for what my body is feeling at that point. I have no idea what my body's gonna look like at that point, but the reason for me doing it is because we are about to hit a very stressful couple of months. We are, for the first time in 4.5 years, moving our entire lives all the way across the ocean and the United States to the East Coast, where we will be stationed, and I don't feel like that's a good time for me to strictly track, because I know that once my day is off, that it's easier for me to just say screw it, rather than knowing that I have the day off from tracking and making better choices that way, if that makes sense. If I go into it with that mindset, it's much better for me than like starting to track and then totally fucking it up. I don't think that it is plausible for me to keep up with something when I'm going to have a ton of other stressors in my life that will be keeping me busy. The other reason is, yes, I do want to lose enough weight, enough body fat percentage to pad those couple of months, because I know that weight gain is going to come. I know that during the road trip that we're going to take across the country, that we are going to be eating food on the road, and I'm not going to be able to, you know, hit my numbers or make the best choices. I'm not going to want to always make the best choices, because I'm going on a road trip across the country and I want to just travel and see all of these things and eat all of these foods that I haven't been exposed to. So why would I want to, you know, track that stuff? You know, it might be not a once in a lifetime thing, but we're only once in a lifetime going to do this for this purpose at this time. So I want to enjoy it fully without thinking about it. And I know that's going to bring on some guilt. I know that's going to bring on some bloat. However, if I have a strong foundation from this spring and summer doing a great job of tracking, then it stays important in my head. I won't overeat because of my weight reasons, but because I feel better and I look better. And when I look better, I feel better. It's, you know, the circle of life here. So I guess basically what I'm going to do is kind of slowly do a cut lean bulk for the next couple of months, and then focus on more intuitive eating, still exercising, but just kind of letting go and taking it day by day. You might ask why I would want to just do that now. Why don't you just let go now and, you know, make sure that you know how to do this beforehand? Because it is a part of my life, and I don't actually mind tracking, and while I have the tools and while I have the skill set and while I have the time and the access to the gym, it's not a problem for me, because it's not because I am working towards like a certain regimen or that I have to do it for health reasons, but because it's a hobby of mine and I like doing it. So I am just kind of wanting to enjoy the stages of all of this lifestyle, and I've gotten myself pretty far since the beginning of the year, and I want to continue and see what I can do. And I also want to go through a stage where I can trust myself, because I think that that's important too. After that, I don't know. I feel like bringing about this change in my life and the change in my body, when I feel good, I say yes to more things, more opportunities present themselves, and I just feel good in general. And that's the foundation that I want to keep. And whatever means for me to get there, I'm going to do. For instance, with counting your macros and hitting a certain amount of fats, proteins, and carbs every day, it's impossible to do a juice cleanse and hit your numbers. Like, impossible. My business, my life, I love juicing. I love juice, and I've gotten so far away from that. I want to do a juice cleanse, and I want it all. Like, I want to try all of these stages, and I want to balance them all. There's no reason why I can't track macros and then feel like I can do a cleanse afterwards and see, you know, if that really does clean me out of all the pre-workout chemicals that I've been taking, all the caffeine that I have in the day, and I think that's valuable for me and my life, and I want to work it into this lifestyle. So basically, I'm just going to be juggling a bunch of fitness and health and diet and just kind of make it my own. And that's another reason why I want to start these videos, because I feel like this world and YouTube and the competitor industry has just blown up, and it seems like there's only one way to do things, and that is completely not true. You can work out really hard, get lean, you can track macros, you can do a juice cleanse, you can eat intuitively, and it's still all in the name of health for your own self and what makes you happy. So if I can balance all of this, then I hope that other people know that they don't have to compete or go on crazy diets and stuff like that to get to where they want to be. With that said, I am planning on checking in weekly or whenever something comes up, like I said. So I'm going to start this as episode 1, and I would really like some feedback, and anyone that wants to follow the journey, please subscribe if you like what I'm doing. I have a lot to say, and I've been holding back because I just didn't feel like I had any right to say anything compared to everybody else who's out there. So I'm going to choose to not believe that anymore, and I'm going to talk my ass off. Or no, not my ass off. I'm gonna keep that. But anyway, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in episode 2.